This is a new 9th Edge battle, the effects of which are bound to shock and rattle. It's a counterthrust. The eagle is deployed on the Higborne elf side, and 2 units of kestrels are deployed on the Sylvan elf side. The objective is to be king of the forest, and both players have chosen this forest in the middle. The Sylvan elves are playing a shooting list, and the Higborne elves have a varied list which may match up all right against the shooting list, but there will be a lot of arrows. Up right underneath 100 arrows per round from the Sylvan wooded side. After all, the Sylvan elves have found what we called gainful deployment. The archers in a rear block here, the King Eagle, Prince and the Shapeshifter, pretty central in the battle. The Sylvan elf immediately regretted that he didn't deploy the King Eagle Prince right here to push back the enemy's deployment in the counterthrust. They have to be 20 inches away, but okay. The Sylvan Sentinels are behind the forest and impassable terrain. Briar Maidens in the rear here, and Pathfinders as well. Now the Higborne elf is arraying his force for a massive attack against the bow line. The Higborne elves try their version of gainful deployment. What is the strategy?
The idea is to have deployed 35.1 inches away from the archers with everything except the eagle. So they, because the Sylvan elf player will get the first turn, they won't do any damage this turn. And I've also tried to deploy in a way such that the Kestrel Knights cannot land behind my lines. So I'm zoning here with on the right I'm zoning with a Sky Sloop. Here I'm zoning with a Fire Phoenix, and to the right I am zoning with both a Sky Sloop and Knights of Ryma.
So the important thing here is the facing of the zoning units.
Yes.
They're looking at things so they can charge anything that tries to come behind the lines.
And then, yes, I'm hoping that I will get through this round with only losing a couple of wounds on my Fire Phoenix. I think I will have to be unlucky to lose it, but it might happen.
We'll see. Sylvan Elf, turn 1 first. This is how it looks from the Sylvan Elf side after Vanguards. The Shapeshifter is up in the forest. For good measure, the Kestrels are up on the flanks as well. And the Sylvan Elf start their turn 1. Maybe the castling of the Higborne Elf, or the defensive first deployment, was very gainful for him, because the shooting did not do much towards him. The Eagle was shot down. The Prince on Eagle missed his shot on the Knights of Ryma. The Kestrels and Heath Riders did not do a single wound to this Sky Sloop. However, the Flame Phoenix lost 4 wounds. Mostly from Sentinels. Only from Sentinels, actually. Master of Stone didn't do any wounds against the Swordmasters. Lightning of Embraces did 6 wounds, but they were all saved by the Knights of Ryma. Now the Higborne Elves take revenge for having to castle defensively up in a shameful corner. The Higborne Elves got something out of their shooting phase. Their magic phase killed 4 Sentinels there, but the shooting Lothian Sea Guards shot down 7 Sentinels in the other unit, and they fled, panicked. 2 Heath Riders were shot down by this Sky Sloop. Other than that, the magic was a disaster despite 6 plus 5 Veil tokens in the Higborne Elf magic phase. Now the Knights of Ryma and Sky Sloop keep a defensive flank, And the large blocks are moving up with the Fire Phoenix with 1 wound remaining. Now this will be exciting. Higborne elves have done their turn 1 and it's Sylvan turn 2. On their turn 2 these sentinels rally. The other sentinels, together with the archers there, who move up, shoot down the Flame Phoenix. The other archers in the bow line are out of reach of anything. The Pathfinders shoot down 4 spearmen here. The Kestrels help shooting down spearmen as well. And the Prince with a bow misses on the defensive Sky Sloop, which has a good position. Now the Shapeshifter charges the Swordmasters. And in that unit he did 2 wounds to the Mage. And 1 combat, but they were steadfast and stood. Now the Sky Sloop lost 2 wounds to the sentinels who actually fired on the Sky Sloop. And now it's turn 2 for the Higborne elves. Their Asphad Mage is in a pinch. He can do magic out of combat, but he has only 1 wound left. And he has the 3+ ward save. So he's more heavily defended than you'd think. The Koopa dice is serving the Shapeshifter Prince well. He saves all the wounds on him. He's had 6 or 7 wounds on him and saved everything. He killed the Asphad Mage. And the Swordmasters did a draw against him in the combat. The Sky Sloop missed the Prince. The Sea Guards turned to shoot down the Kestrels and only did 2 wounds, so no panic even. The Sky Sloop shot down 2 Heath Riders, no panic there either. They did take a test though. And here the Spearmen are up in the opponent's deployment phase. But the skirmishing archers will have an easy time moving out of the way of the Spearmen. So, with all the archers remaining, and the luck of the Shapeshifter, the Higborne elves have a tough time with it going into the last 4 rounds of the battle. We end the battle after round 2. The Higborne elves concede victory to the Sylvan elves. They didn't have much left because of the placement of their blocks.
Yes. Now I have nothing to take him with beside the Sea Guard. So it's pointless to continue. It would have been a big victory for the Sylvan elves, no matter what.
And the shooting list, that's a new option for Sylvan elves now. Archers in core without...
okay, so it wasn't possible in version 1.3?
Archers were part of Unseen Arrows, the 30%
okay.
earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard to take unless you have... because I have Pyromancy, which is a very good lore against Sylvan elves.
Yeah, right.
But it proved to be... you can only take so many wounds. It has to be said, I really flopped with my casting rolls, that one vital magic phase.
Right.
But in this game it wouldn't have made any difference. But the point I'm trying to make is that I didn't have enough in my list to bring down your shooting elements. So you could just have jumped around me.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I think the Scorching Salvo, for example, in Pyromancy could have made a difference. Things could have fled and things might have happened, but you didn't have enough tools to storm the enemy deployment zone. Let's say more knights could have, instead of spearmen. Spearmen were pretty useless compared to what knights would have
Yes,
been.
in this list, or against your list. But it's hard to say because you have so much armor penetration. So if I had exposed my Knights of Ryma, you would have used 1 round to reduce them quite significantly, I guess.
Exactly. The archers did not have many good targets because you didn't come close enough. So that was a paradox.
Yeah, I tried to reduce the amount of damage you could do first turn, but I ended up shoehorning myself. if that is what you say.
I agree. You
Because,
castled a bit too defensively.
Yes, I thought that I deployed in such a way that I could push on the left side, but it wasn't enough. I should just have deployed aggressively, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.